Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Pure Faith Podcast, a podcast where we discuss all things Bible. This is your host, Mitchell Heitkamp, and I am your co-host, Michelle Waymeyer. We ask that you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the notification icon to be notified when new episodes are released. Right?
Right.
Right.
Sure.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Crazy?
Sure.
Mom got her drain tube out.
She did?
Yep. So that was exciting yesterday. It actually was kind of gross, but it was exciting. So got that done, and she has now gotten the good to go. So she's been garage sailing today. It was so funny. So I was like, can you move your head from left to right? Because I haven't seen you do that a lot lately. So you can't drive to garage sales if you can't move your head left to right. And then she was getting ready to get out of the car, and I'm like, you have all your stuff? And she's like, yeah, I've got it. I'm like, do you need help carrying it? She goes, no, I think I got it. And I thought to myself, yeah, because if you don't have it, you can't go garage selling tomorrow because you can't carry your bag. So you have to have all your stuff in order you would be able to take care of yourself in order to go by yourself tomorrow. She did good though. So
Well, she tried to say she was going to watch The Boys
yes,
Saturday.
on Saturday. She said she can.
No, I said no.
Oh, well, Sadie said she would help her. You would just have to help clean her.
Yet.
I think you would just have to help her clean up afterwards, if nothing else. Sorry, we're starting early, and my watch says it's time to leave to go to Bible study. Leave my house, even though I'm still late.
Even though it's still only 5 minutes away. That's walking.
Right. So, and then we had Missy's birthday this week.
We did.
So we were able to reminisce with some pictures and some of us with some tears.
I assume you're talking about yourself, so.
Yeah, I am. But I got to spend the day with Mom. Well, we went to her
Good.
appointment, so that was nice. But anyhow.
That'd have been harder. I was just at work. I was in my own little world, so. I mean, I see the pictures and all that, but.
Yeah. Well, what got me is that Kendra shared on Facebook the 3 kids saying happy birthday to her. Like,
Oh, I didn't see that.
oh, they were younger. I mean, of course, it probably was 5 years ago. I mean, she's been passed for almost 5 years. So, but it was so super cute, and that's what got me. I'd been fine if I wouldn't have seen that.
That probably would have got me too, but I didn't see it.
Yeah. Don't watch it.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. We have Olivia's graduation on Saturday. She graduates from college, so yay.
That's this Saturday?
That's this Saturday. That's why I can't watch The Boys.
Oh.
I've told you 3 times.
Her actual graduation. I was thinking the graduation party.
No. Her
That's
actual.
for Daniel. Never mind.
Yeah. Daniel graduates from high school, and we have a graduation party for him in a couple of weeks.
But you're doing the Olivia's thing with.
Yeah, so we're doing a send-off party with the graduation party, and we're sending Olivia and Owen off to Utah, and we're gonna graduate Daniel, and by Memorial Day we will be done. Like, I think then after Memorial Day our lives slow down a little bit.
Mine doesn't slow down till July. Every weekend between now and July, I'm busy. I think I might have one open weekend, but I technically don't have anything. I was supposed to work this week, but I can't because there's nobody around to watch The Boys. So
you choose not to because you think it's too much for Mom to handle The Boys. Let's be honest.
True. Yeah. Do you think it'd be okay for her to watch The Boys?
I think she'll be fine watching The Boys, especially if Sadie's there. They just play, and Mom won't pick them up. If nothing else, they'll sit on her lap to watch TV. But I think unless they get thrown off by her stitches, like if they get scared or something. But like I said, the most that you'll have to do is clean up when you get there. She says something about lunch, but I think she can do lunch.
I don't know. I think it might be a little bit much yet.
Oh, that's totally up to you. I'm not taking him to graduation with me.
You sure?
No, not doing it. You're not convinced. Nope. Not taking any of them. Not doing it. Because I would, and I would be like, oh my gosh, here we go. You can never say no.
What time you guys leaving?
No, no.
Stop in and put them in the car.
We're
Bye,
leaving
boys.
tomorrow, and you will
See you
not be
later.
available to be in my car tomorrow.
I can make it work.
Oh, shoot. So, anyhow, so that's kind of an update on our families. I think
Yeah.
we're moving right along. This coming week we'll have Missy's the anniversary of her passing. That'll be 5 years. So
Also my wedding anniversary.
yes, it is also your wedding anniversary. Is it 7 years or 8?
7.
7 years. Gotcha. Yep. I know, right? My goodness.
Where has the time gone?
April is just busy. Dad's birthday, Missy's birthday, your anniversary. We got the anniversary of passing. There's just a lot going on in April. Taxes. I mean, come on.
I don't really do much with taxes.
Just pay them.
I don't. It's all my wife.
Oh my. So funny. So in other words, we're beating around the bush because Mitchell is not prepared for Bible study again this week
Well,
because he is busy. He is a busy, busy guy. Very busy.
I'm prepared-ish.
Right? So, you want to start?
Sure. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pure Faith Podcast. Oh no, not that start.
We've already done that.
Oh. Okay, so we're still in Hebrews. We are getting closer to the end. We're about halfway there. After 18 episodes. I'm just kidding. I don't know how.
I don't know either, but
It's been like 17 or 18 episodes, but I don't know how much more we got. So we are doing, I'm going to read Hebrews 11:23 through 25.
through 20.
And so, yeah. So this reads, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hidden for 3 months by his parents, because they saw that the child was beautiful, and they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he was grown up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to be mistreated with the people of God than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. So that's where we're going to start. There's more about
there's such
about Moses. So
Yeah.
Moses is going to be another one that's going to be multiple episodes. But there's two things here that I kind of want to hit on first. So we're going to stop here. And the first thing I really want to focus on is, like we just said, this is about Moses.
Mm-hmm.
But this first verse, verse 23, is by faith Moses, when he was born, was hidden for 3 months by his parents. So this is talking about Moses, but this doesn't actually involve Moses. Moses was a baby. He had no say on what was going to happen.
Right.
He didn't say hide me for 3 months. He was not a part of the decision making at this point in his life.
Mm-hmm.
This was his parents making those decisions.
Right.
And I'm not going to try to pronounce his parents' name.
No.
It's kind of complicated. Look it up. But they were the ones making these decisions. And something we often do, and something I often say and do in this podcast, is say that we need to look at this through the eyes of the people involved.
Okay.
Because that's the best way for us to understand or to interpret what the Bible means, is by understanding what the intention of it, what the original meaning of it was for the people it was written to, or for the people that it deals with.
Right.
So for this instance, if we go back, and a lot of people know the story of Moses, the big thing, the 10 plagues, led the people out of Egypt, parted the Red Sea, led the Israelites to the 40 years in the desert. A lot of people know those stories.
Right.
Um, but something a lot of people kind of just glance over is the birth of
I would
Moses.
say the beginning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you even take that even back like a year prior to his birth, when his parents were planning or thinking about having a child, let's look at this from their point of view. Because at that point in time, they they were pretty much guaranteed two outcomes. If they were going to have a son, if they decide to have a child and they have a son, that son technically should be killed.
Right.
Based on the king's edict, the king's law, and to understand why that law was there. So, even to go back a little bit further, actually quite a bit further, the whole reason why the Israelites are in Egypt, remember, this is the story of Joseph. Joseph, the son of Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob was Israel. So Joseph, the son of Israel, is basically sold into slavery by his brothers,
Yes.
goes to Egypt. Um, he's there for a while. Things happen. He ends up becoming the second most powerful person in Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. So he was basically the Pharaoh's right hand man.
Wait, tell me again. Was he the one who could see dreams?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm thinking of the right person. Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason his brother sold him to slavery because he's saying, "Oh, I had this dream that you, my brothers, will be bowing down to me," and
Yeah, and they were
they're
just
like,
over it. Mm-hmm.
"This guy,
Yeah.
let's get rid of him." They wanted to kill him. Well, I forget which brother it was.
Really did try
Gad.
to, right? Put him in
They
a,
were they were going to. They were talking about it. They threw him down in a cellar.
yeah, like,
One of his oldest brothers, I want to say it was Gad, but I might be wrong. Um, he was like, "No, let's not kill him," and he was trying to basically save him because Joseph was his dad's
yeah.
favorite. Um, and he left for some reason. I don't remember the exact reason. He came back, and his other brother sold him to a
Slavery.
caravan of of people going to Egypt, and so he was sold into slavery to Egypt.
Yes.
Um, so
While
while
there.
while in Egypt, there was the big famine. You had
Mm-hmm.
7 years of prosperity, followed by 7 years of drought. Well, when the drought got really bad, his brothers came to Egypt, bowed down before him, like his dream said,
Mm-hmm.
and he was basically, things happen, long story short, he brings his entire family to Egypt in order to protect them, to
Mm-hmm.
feed them, to house them, to make sure they
These
are
are the
taken
same
care
people
of.
that sold him off.
Yes,
The goodness of his heart, he showed forgiveness and brought them to protect them then.
yes. He did mess with them a little bit, but in the end, he did
Mm-hmm.
show forgiveness. So yeah, and that's why they were there. And then they were there for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And as time went by, you know, other pharaohs came into power. And at this particular time, it said that a pharaoh came into power who basically didn't remember Joseph and didn't remember that time of their
Mm-hmm.
history. Enough time has passed, or he just chose to ignore that part of the history. And this pharaoh's like, we have all these Israelites here, and there's more of them than us. If they
Mm-hmm.
decide to rise up, they could overthrow us. So he's like, okay, let's oppress them. Let's, and that's where they basically slipped into slavery. I mean, it wasn't like it just kind of happened.
Mm.
The Pharaoh was just like,
If you're an
okay,
Israelite, then
yep, this is now your job, and so they basically entered into slavery, and then while in slavery, you know, the Israelite population is still growing. And finally, the Pharaoh's like, okay, midwives. whenever these Hebrew women give birth, if they give birth to a male child, kill that child there on the spot. If it's a female, let her live. Well, the midwives didn't want to do that. And they're like, no. And so they told Pharaoh that, oh, these Hebrew women, they have their children before we can even get there. And so we're too late. So they have their child.
Mm-hmm.
And then he modified that edict and was like, all male children, Hebrew children, would be thrown in the Nile. Instead of having the midwives do it, it's pretty much like, hey, if you see a male Hebrew child, and male Hebrew baby, they need to be thrown in the Nile and killed. So this is the position that
these parents, Moses' parents are in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they know if we have a child, if we choose to have a child,
we're up against a big decision.
You're between a rock and a hard spot.
Yeah.
Because if it's a boy, by the edict, that child should be killed.
Yeah.
If it's a girl, you're still having a child in slavery.
Yeah.
So no matter what, that child is still going to be
yeah.
in servitude.
Boy.
So no matter which way you look at it, boy or girl, there's not a good outcome for either one.
Right.
But they still chose to have a child. And I know that can speak a lot for people nowadays. I know like Paige and I went through that whenever we first started to decide, hey, we want to start a family. Like we had whenever you're getting ready to start a family, you know there's going to be struggles, hardships. You don't know what's coming up. Paige and I knew. We knew I was going on deployment. Yeah. We knew I was going to be gone for a year.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to wait till after I got back.
Yeah, because then you're really old.
Yeah. Exactly. Instead of having a 5-year-old, we would have been starting with Eli at 3.
Oh my gosh.
So our first kid would have been class of 2039 instead of class of 2037.
I know, right?
So yeah, but we had to.
Right. And it's an obstacle. I mean, it's a decision to make. You know there's going to be obstacles in front of you. It's a challenge, but there's also that calling to, be parents and raise your children and
like we don't live in a perfect world, but it could be worse.
Yeah.
You could be in the position that Moses' parents were in and realize your child has 2 options, slavery or death.
Right.
So compared to that, if you decide to have a kid nowadays, it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
for most people it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we really need to focus on is the fact that, or something I really wanted to highlight, is the fact that yes, this is about Moses, but it's about so much more than Moses. It's, I mean, if you're looking at this, like, why was Moses even born? This is the decision that his parents had to go through. These are the life choices they had to make whenever they were deciding to start a family. Like, it's literally that. It's slavery or death. That's our 2 options. But they went a different route. So
yeah, they did. Not a route that most people can do.
Technically, that was supposed to be the 2 options. But whenever they saw their child, and they saw that they had a little boy, and it says that the child was beautiful.
What child isn't beautiful?
Well, if it's a newborn, like newborn, newborn babies are not beautiful. Give them a few days.
Yeah.
Definitely give them a few months.
Yeah.
That'll be a good looking kid.
Yeah.
But right away, they're not that. They're all misshapen and gross.
You find the beauty in it, not what it is.
I struggled. Luckily, Zeke is cute now. And Eli and Ephraim.
Wait a second. I was gonna say, you got 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're real cute.
Ephraim.
Oh.
Ephraim's a ham.
I can tell you that he was the best kid on Saturday. So Mitchell was to a bachelor party on Saturday. His brother-in-law's getting married, and Paige asked me if I would watch the boys, if we would watch the boys, that way she could go to dinner with her mom. And I said, yeah, that's fine. Ephraim came walking because usually he has to be carried in. He walked in, and I told mom he had the biggest personality on Saturday night. He was cracking me up. He was playing with Uncle Don. He had the biggest personality, and we had so much fun with him on Saturday. Now, Eli, that child, oh, he was ornery. He was so ornery.
True statement.
He's so ornery. I don't know. I don't know how you guys do it.
I don't know how we do it.
Patience.
Lots of patience and lots of prayer.
Yeah, well, I prayed for you too.
Thanks. We need it.
But everyone's got a big personality. So, anyhow, go ahead. Go on.
So yeah, so I don't remember where I was, but they made the
The beautiful
decision.
baby. And
Beautiful
when
baby, yeah,
so
right.
they made the decision that they wanted to save this child.
Yes, they did not want to allow this child to be thrown in the Nile to be killed.
But yet
they're
they
like, no.
put him in the Nile.
They did eventually, but they're like, and this is where this is Hebrews 11. This is about faith. What we're talking about is about faith.
Right.
They realize that God is bigger than the king. God is the King of Kings.
Right. Amen.
So this Pharaoh, I'm sure he can make laws, he can make rules, he can
But
do
he
whatever
can't
he wants.
dictate the.
But and this also speaks a lot to us, just generally in our society, in our lives. And like I said at the beginning of this, if you're looking at this through the eyes of his parents and the way they interpreted things, it helps us to interpret this passage for us in our lives today. Well, like I said, they had 2 options. Whether boy or girl, there was slavery or death. But they have a baby boy. Technically, his life should be death.
Right.
But they're like, no, we don't agree with this worldly pharaoh's rules.
Right.
Like, we don't agree with that law. That law is immoral. That law is wrong.
That law is ridiculous.
That law definitely goes against what God teaches and what God
Amen.
believes. So they're like, no, we're not going to follow it. Like, we're going to stand up against the king. And they were risking their lives to do that.
Right. And I'm just thinking to myself that you put the risk out there. You already know one of 2 things are going to happen.
Yes.
You put that risk out there knowing that, but also knowing that you truly have no way of knowing what the outcome's going to be because it's only God who knows the outcome. So you sometimes you have to put yourself out there. You have to roll the dice. You have to do
live
these
by
things.
faith.
Exactly.
So no matter what happens, as long as you are doing what you feel what the Lord is calling you to do.
Yes.
If you feel you are walking the path, and trust me, if you're in prayer and you are earnestly praying about being on the path and following the path, then the Lord is going to put you on that path. And if you're off the path, things are going to happen. You're like, I don't want to go that way. Let's veer back this way. And the Lord will set you on the right path. Well, when you're on that path, then even though to stay on that path, it's going to be hard. It's going to be risky. Like you're risking your life. You're going to be risking. I mean,
the lives of your children.
I'm assuming they had friends and other family that were also involved and knew about this and was helping with the cover up. You're putting all of them at risk. So there's a lot of risk to follow that path. But to have faith means that no matter what may come, you are going to do what you feel the Lord is calling you to do.
Yes. Yes.
And that is living by faith.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Moses' parents did. Now, once that 3 months time came up, there was no set limit on the time. It's just at 3 months, okay, this child is getting big enough and old enough to the point that's like, hey, we can see that's not a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So you can dress him in pink, but that little girl don't look like a girl.
Right.
So at that point, they're like, we can't. Like it was probably getting just too risky, too
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
keep him hidden. So they devised a plan, and everybody kind of knows this plan. They end up putting him in a basket, and they put pitch on it so it would float, and then they floated it. Well, there's two versions. One version is they floated it down the river. The other one is they put it in the reeds next to where the daughter of Pharaoh bathes.
Mm-hmm.
And like they knew that she was going to be going down there, and so they put him in that position so that he could be found. And sure enough, the daughter of Pharaoh finds Moses. And the interesting thing is, while Moses was in this basket on the river, his older sister was just off the tree line, basically watching.
Mm.
And so whenever Pharaoh's daughter found Moses, she came out and was like, "Oh, you found a Hebrew baby. Would you like me to go find basically somebody to nurse and take care of this baby for you since it's still so young?" She's like, "Yes." Well, then she goes and gets Moses' mom and bring Moses' mom back. And it's like, "Will you take care of this child?" And then she got paid to raise her own son.
Oh my gosh. So crazy.
So they took a huge risk. Moses' parents took a huge risk in hiding Moses
Yeah.
and doing what they did. But in the end, it all worked out. And Moses actually ended up becoming the adopted son of Pharaoh's daughter. And how much time we got?
We've got about 3 minutes.
So I want to stop there.
Okay.
So we only got through verse 23 tonight. Um, but next week yeah, I think we'll be here next week. There's probably going to be a week, not next week, week after, that we're not going to have an episode, just to give you a heads up.
Yeah.
I got more military stuff. Like I said, we were saying before, very busy this time of
Yeah.
the year,
Yeah.
and I don't have one in the bank. And instead of rushing around trying to get an extra one recorded,
We just don't.
we're just going to go ahead and
Yeah.
skip a week.
Which is fine because I know that that just gives you guys we're like putting you on a cliffhanger so that way in 2 weeks you'll
Sure.
be like, yes, they're back.
I'm actually thinking about after Hebrews taking a little
Yeah. I think it's
break.
a lot of podcasts take off for the summer months. And I
Some
think that
take off during Christmas.
yeah,
Sometimes they just need a little time.
sometimes you need to sit back and you need to take some time off and reflect on a lot of it because then it just brings new energy to all of it.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. And we were doing that for a while, but we weren't taking a break. We were just going off and doing something different. But I think we both could use that new energy.
Yeah.
So
'Cause it's
perfect.
been
Oh my gosh.
when do we start? Started in December of what year did it pass? Been 2 years ago?
We started well with I
See, this is 2024. So that would have passed in 22,
21.
21. Yes.
Yeah, and I actually,
Yes.
so just so you guys know, well, not that you guys need to know, but um, so I had someone reach out to me in regards to we were talking about being bench warmers at church, right?
Okay.
And I had someone who doesn't work with me directly, but works with me through my job, and she needed some guidance, and she reached out to me. I had a phone conversation with her for about an hour, and it was really good because I felt like I then wasn't a bench warmer anymore. I was helping somebody, and it felt really great. And I actually sent her our first, I said, I don't want to push this on you, but
Hmm.
while you're sitting around and you need something to listen to, I said, we really break this down to people who may not have a good understanding. And I think right there, Introduction to the Pure Faith podcast, December 18th, 2021. So that was our first, I think that was our very first go with it.
That's whenever we released it. So we actually started
Okay.
recording before that because we actually recorded the first one before Dad passed. So it would have been like right at the end of November.
Oh yeah, because I was up at, yeah, you're exactly right. I was in the up north with the kids at Perrysburg, and they went to a football game when you called me. And their wedding was, yeah, we were shopping for dresses. So yeah, it was well before Thanksgiving, I think, wasn't it?
I don't know. Might have been.
Anyhow, yeah. So, all right. So, anyhow, we
So
might take a break.
so it's been 2.5 years. We haven't really stopped. So we might take
Take some
a
time.
week off.
I think it'll be longer than a week. Anyhow, we'll let you know for sure. We thank you for joining us. Please leave a comment on this video or go to our contact page at purefaithliving.com to send us a message. And as always, if you like what you hear, then we ask that you share this show with others so we can all work together in spreading the good news of Jesus Christ. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Have a blessed day, everybody.